Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Daily Triple, your no shit gaming news video. That's 3 news stories in one video with zero faff. Cyberpunk is having a pretty hard time of it at the moment after being delayed yet again earlier this week. After being moved from April to September to November and now to December, multiple stories of crunch, microtransaction concerns, and cut features, things are really not going well for the folks over at CD Projekt. But one thing that is absolutely unacceptable and completely disgusting, though not at all surprising, is that the staff of CDPR have been receiving death threats. The game has been delayed 21 days from November 19th to December 10th, and this is due to difficulties optimizing the game for PS4, PS4 Pro, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PC, and Stadia. The game's delayed, that's a real bummer, but sending death threats is fucking pathetic. People like that are the reason video games are still mocked by the media and aren't going to be taken seriously anytime soon. It's easy to say, oh, these are just words, they don't mean anything, you need to toughen up, but there are real people on the other end of those messages and they get hundreds of them. Real people who likely had nothing to do with the delay, as it seems that many of them found out when the public did at the same time through the same Twitter posts rather than being told first by management. However, the few fuckwits who are sending death threats do not nullify the legitimate criticisms of this delay and CDPR's management of the whole situation of late. One thing that many critics are pointing to is a pair of tweets that came the day before the delay, where someone wanted to book time off work to play the game and Cyberpunk's official Twitter account gave the go-ahead. It's clear to me that the social media team, much like the devs, knew absolutely nothing about the delay and it was entirely ordered from the top. Fortunately, this case seems to have been solved remarkably pleasantly in the pro-consumer way we all think of CDPR, or at least used to. Booking time off to play video games sounds like a tremendous luxury to me, and getting your panties in a bunch over it is one of the pettiest things I've seen in a long time. Yes, it is disappointing, I understand that, but you'll still get to play the game on day one, and if you can't reschedule your holiday time, then you've got a free week to do something else. Take up a new hobby, go somewhere, or just stay inside and chill for a week. That holiday time really can't have been too precious if you were going to use it on a video game. CD Projekt recently held an investor call to discuss the situation with its shareholders. In the call, President and Joint CEO Adam Kaczynski explained that the game is actually good to go on PC and next-gen systems, and it's the old machines that are causing the problems. The game is ready for PC and runs great on the next-gen consoles, and could be shipped on the scheduled date on those platforms. However, even though the game has been certified on the current gens by both Sony and Microsoft, some very final optimization processes for such a massive and complex game require a bit of additional time. Now, this isn't the first time that current-gen hardware has held back CD Projekt games, but this issue is a catch-22. Making the game work on lower performance systems will limit the game's maximum potential, but developing without those platforms in mind will mean missing out on a huge player base, meaning there's less money to make the game as good as it could be on a technical level. Elsewhere in the call, they were also questioned about crunch and claimed it's not actually as bad as all that. Regarding crunch, actually, it's not that bad, and never was. Of course, it's a story that has been picked up by the media, and some people have been crunching heavily, but a large part of the team is not crunching at all since they finished their work. It's mostly about QA and engineers, programmers, but it's not that heavy. Of course, it will be extended a bit, but we have feedback from the team. They're happy about the 3 extra weeks, so we don't see any threats regarding crunch. Crunch stories flip-flop all the time, with some saying it's absolutely terrible and makes people physically ill, but then another story comes along saying it's completely manageable and comes from perfectionists looking to go the extra mile. I doubt we'll ever hear the true story behind that, but if they're not crunching, they're still working bloody hard, so leave them the fuck alone, yeah? I know Ninja disagrees, but it is just a game. While I'm sure most of you are rational and kind human beings, no doubt there are a few filthy degenerates among you. It is disappointing that the game is delayed yet again, but use that negative energy more constructively or get professional help, man. Express your disappointment by all means, it's pretty annoying, but don't be a crazy person. And next up, Halo is one of Microsoft's biggest tentpole video game franchises, but the most recent entry seems to be facing problem after problem, not unlike Cyberpunk, come to think of it. After being delayed back in August past the Xbox Series X launch day, leaving the system with no significant exclusives, Halo Infinite's director has now left the project. That's according to a new Bloomberg report, which explains that the game director and 343 Studios 12-year veteran Chris Lee felt his role in the project was being sidelined. He told Bloomberg, "I've stepped back from Infinite and I'm looking at future opportunities. I believe in the team and I'm confident that they will deliver a great game, and now is a good time for me to step away." This sidelining seems to have occurred after 2 new senior figures were brought on. Joe Staten, who wrote both Halo 3 and Halo Reach, was brought on to lead the single-player campaign mode, and Pierre Hintz, who has worked as a producer for PlayStation, Square Enix, and 343, will handle the multiplayer side of things. However, despite stepping back from his role as director on Halo Infinite, he is still employed by Microsoft in the company as a whole. Microsoft explained explained, Chris Lee remains a Microsoft employee, and while he has stepped back from Halo Infinite right now, we appreciate all he has done for the project to date. Now, none of this speaks to a particularly healthy development cycle, and I have a lot of doubts about this game going forward. When the gameplay was first shared recently, it looked far from the next-gen title fans were expecting, and they certainly weren't shy about letting the devs know. The game was then pushed past its original November release date to an indeterminate time in 2021. In August last year, the game lost creative director Tim Longo and executive producer Mary Olsen, and Microsoft said at the time the overall creative vision and production of the game remains led by Chris Lee. The state of said overall creative vision is now very much up in the air, and it seems like finishing the fight may be more a case of finishing the damn game. Losing so many key figures is never a good sign, especially when what little footage of the game we have seen looks, well, like this. This also isn't even the only recent Halo controversy, as changes to the customization system have rubbed some fans the wrong way. Undeniably, Halo Reach had the best customization with loads of options that were all earnable through gameplay, but each subsequent version has been a step back. This system, known now as coatings, seems to be similar to something like Destiny's shaders. These coatings allow you to change the color and texture of different armor pieces and even weapons and vehicles, which all sounds wonderful. But some people aren't happy about this because this is different from the primary and secondary color systems that came before, but also because of microtransaction concerns. Some saw this as expanding your customization options, while others saw it as Microsoft looking for more things to monetize. Halo 5 launched with some pretty horrific loot boxes, which were just one of many reasons fans didn't take to that game. But community manager John Yunzik, forgive my pronunciation, explained that some of these coatings will be available as microtransactions, but others will still be earnable. Maybe I'm too old to care, or I'm still getting back into the swing of things after some time off, but I'm finding it hard to get really upset about this one right now. It could well be horrifically monetized, but we don't know that just yet, and we'll have to wait for reviews. Monetization in full-priced games always sucks, but so long as people keep buying these microtransactions, they'll keep on doing it, so this is nothing new. The multiplayer mode will also have some free-to-play component, which makes this whole situation more confusing, and 343 has done a piss-poor job of explaining things. Corporate branded coatings for weapons and armor will always rub me the wrong way, but there are still far too many questions for me to definitively condemn this new system at the moment. Is it really so difficult to just do Halo Reach's system again? Nevertheless, Halo Infinite losing its director is a much bigger deal than whatever customization controversy seems to be happening. It's not going to matter what your Spartan armor looks like if the game launches and it's a total shit show. And finally, to quickly wrap up a long daily triple for my first day back, let's close with November's free PS Plus games. First up is Bugsnax, which will be free to download for subscribers on PS5 when the system launches on November the 12th or 19th, depending on where you are in the world. PS4 and 5 subscribers will also be able to get Shadow of War, which, despite its numerous controversies at launch, is actually a really good game. Monolith removed the paid loot box system and reworked all the progression to make it a really great game that is unfortunately overshadowed by its very rocky start. Regrettably, there are still some bloody loot boxes in there, but they're not paid for and completely avoidable, and I really do recommend the game. Finally, there's Hollow Knight, the 2D side-scroller from Team Cherry. It's a popular indie hit among fans of cute Metroidvanias, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. Both of these PS4 titles will be available to subscribers on the 3rd of November, which is next Tuesday at the time of recording. And as one last note, the blog post that announced these titles also detailed what games would be included with the PS Plus collection on PS5. This collection is available to all PS Plus subscribers on PS5 as Sony's answer to Xbox Game Pass and features some absolute gems. Sony Worldwide Studios games include Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Infamous Second Son, Ratchet & Clank, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Until Dawn, and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. And then third-party game studios titles include Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles Edition, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat X, Persona 5, and Resident Evil 7. And that's your lot for today. If you enjoyed this no shit format, go ahead and give the video a like to give it a boost, hit subscribe and the bell if you want to stay up to date on all future installments. Toss a coin to your YouTuber over at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. That's all for today. I've been Henry Cooper. Bye for now.